Welcome to Front Range Facts. This is Anthony Meisner.
And Jim Arian.
We're here with your local real estate update for the month of October. And Jim, tell us what's going on.
Well, we wanted to just start out with some interesting Boulder County trends that we've been talking about. So, in an average year, typically you see about 18% of contracts fall out. Inspection happens or appraisal issues or a buyer gets cold feet. So about 18% is kind of the, average year. But, this year, we're seeing a 22% contract cancellation rate, which is indicative, obviously, of a much more volatile market. And to just put it in perspective, because inventory was so tight last year and interest rates were so low, it was only 13%. People were thankful. Hey, I've got all these issues. I've got a sewer line I got to replace and a roof. No problem. I'll keep staying under contract. But this year is a whole nother story. If you don't have a really nice home to sell, you're probably going to have a rough time, getting people in the door, and you're going to have even less people enthused, and you're probably going to get, rougher, clients. So that's the gist of it right there.
All right. So if we talk about the volatility or just the drastic difference from market to market, we've seen things like a auction sale in Boulder County that went for 51% of list sale price.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've seen these crazy over asking price offers in other places at 116% asking price. So it really is neighborhood to neighborhood with what's going on right now in all your localized markets, right? It's not just Boulder County, it's everywhere.
And sometimes it's just simply the product, somebody just gets wowed by the house or the views or whatever else. And then, the other thing that, Anthony and I talked about a little bit when we were talking about the state update is just, the concessions and transactions. So right now, 40% of all transactions in Boulder County are closing with some form of seller concession. Either they're giving, cash at close to pay off some of the down payment costs for people, or they're doing the 2-1 buy down, which is literally 1 out of 4 transactions right now in Boulder County are having that seller finance the interest rate to drop 2 points the first year for a buyer, 1 point the second year. Think of it as a Band-Aid solution, right, Anthony?
Yep.
We're trying to get over this rough spot of probably the highest peak interest rates right now. So give us 2 years, give that buyer 2 years to have a lesser rate with the idea they'll refinance, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's really functional.
Yeah.
Right. So let's get into the Denver metro area. This is obviously a much bigger part of the market here in Colorado, but check out these average sales prices. Average and median, it's finally flattened out and really kind of come out in the wash a little bit better. Look how well our year-over-year stats are. They're up 4.6% in our average. Our median's up 2.2%. I think it just goes to show the health and the strength in the market here, right? Yeah. Which is really exciting. If we go down to the supply, though, check this out. You would think that we would have this big surge in supply because we just haven't had as many buyers active. But look at the new listings. New listings coming to market only had 4,300 listings last month. Yeah. It's so dramatically below where we were years ago. We're 12% or 13% below this time last year, but look at the normal band of where the listing behavior is, like 2019, 2022, 2021, right? All those years at the top are really consistent behavior for this market. So one, those golden handcuffs, right? That makes it very difficult to get listing activity. But the other thing is, it's a tough bridge between 3% and 7.7 today, which is where national average.
Well, and that's playing a role in that 23.1% drop in active listings for sure.
Yeah. So even though, remember that number, 4,300 new listings coming to market, the pending number is down to 3,150. So there's about 1,000 homes every month that are going to start to pile up just a little bit, but that's not very many, right? No. I mean, it takes so many homes across the Denver metro area to really create more of a balanced scenario. We're in this incredible seller's market, right? 2.1 months of inventory right now in Denver metro.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all. I mean, again, a balanced market, 6 months of inventory. We haven't seen that since about 2010. There's certainly the 3 million plus price point, which is at that more balanced mark right now,
or even buyer's market in many cases.
Yeah. But in everything else, it's really low. A lot of times, it's even just 1 month of inventory and some of the price points.
Yep. So this is the last slide in here, and I think this is important because this is what you're feeling as a consumer, right? When you're selling a house, it takes on average 29 days to go under contract right now, right? From now through the end of the year, that should rise because, behavior changes and things slow down, and with interest rates rising a little bit, it's going to slow down the market even more. Yeah. So it's just taking a little bit longer to sell a home. Well, the craziest part about this is, look, we're right on pace with where we were in 2019. Yeah. So this is not a bad thing, right? We're just getting back to a more normalized feeling market. You're seeing it with the percentage list sale price too.
Well, and I think too, it's just important to point out that, the average days in the MLS, encompasses all price ranges. And again, like Anthony was saying before with the price points, the higher up in that price point you go, the longer it is going to take for there versus the lower end, we're still seeing it snapped up quite quickly.
I mean, it could be in the matter of a week, right? I mean, you see
Yeah,
it
on the
depending
low
on
end,
the
yeah,
price range.
yeah, and then a high end, 6 months or
Yeah,
something.
absolutely. Okay, so let's talk. We started with Boulder County. Let's get back to Boulder County a little bit. We just wanted to give you some perspective from the metro area. Obviously with the higher price points in Boulder County, I think you're seeing a different composition of sales shift. So it's not that homes are dropping in value, right? And you're seeing this in a lot of marketplaces. Different types of homes are selling right now, and we know that because we look at price per square foot and all these other metrics. But things are getting stable, and I think that's important to see across all of these markets. Stability in our markets, the entire Front Range as a whole is really just a stable environment. So
4.7% increase in median sale price too.
Right.
From last year.
That's a good one. Same thing's going on in Boulder County with the supply of inventory. We've seen a big drop in new listings coming to market. September was kind of an anomaly. There's a little bit more listings there than were to be expected. So
yeah, there's a wave for sure.
There's definitely a wave.
More surprising wave of more listings.
Yeah. I mean, but when you were in July, it was a surprising drop. So I think that's probably people waited a couple of months to go to market or something, right?
It was really rainy this summer.
That's true. All right. Our friends out in Weld County, 4% increase in average sales price. It looks really good, right? Things out there are doing better than most of the markets. It feels a lot like what Denver is experiencing, but we're only $500,000 average sales price. So when you look at that, the interest rates are going to affect this just a little bit less than $1 million market like Boulder.
And the median sale price, similar to Boulder County, we've gone up about 4%.
Yep, take a look at this one. This is the demand in Weld County, and you can really see just the amount of pending listings are well below where we were a few years, but substantially higher than 2019 still. But I think the market is growing so much there that a lot of that is actually due to market growth, because there are more homes, more people moving to Weld County, more people building in Weld County, all that stuff. But it feels just like Denver Metro. It feels a lot like Boulder County, right? 2.4 months of inventory. These are strong sellers markets up and down the Front Range still. What about Larimer?
Yeah, well, Larimer, is kind of the opposite, right? They've had years of growth, way exceeding, they're like El Paso County. They've way exceeded the norm with their growth, and their prices have just jumped up high. Well, the hangover seems to be here a little bit, right? I mean, you have the, new listings, down 10%, the active listings down 13.4. But you're seeing it track, I think higher with, active listings than because we were following in 2019 for a lot of the other ones here, and now we've got even 2021 it's above there, so they've seen a larger increase, I think, than others have.
Absolutely. And look at the demand is very similar, right? We've seen a little bit of a slow in the demand, but not horrible. We're kind of in that range where you're closer to Boulder County with inventory, just even though it is fairly flat for month supply of inventory, still 2.7. It's a little bit higher than most of the rest of the areas around. But either way, it's still a seller's market.
Yeah.
All right. So El Paso County, of course, we didn't forget about our friends down in the Springs.
This again, median sale price, has gone down a little bit. So this is always been the shining light. It's finally the year that it's not, as far as the rapid price increase.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've seen
like
5 years of 9, 10, 12% increases in price, and now we're seeing it down this market. I think this all speaks to the fact that interest rates hurt the lower end of the market more than anyone else, and the lower end of our broader market is El Paso County. It's been the more affordable place, and that's what drove the prices for years, right?
Right. And now that those average sales prices are even more than Weld County, and they're getting closer to a lot of the rest of the market, I think that's also part of the reason this is slowing so fast, because for years we had 1 month of inventory down there, right? Now that we're at 2.3 months of inventory in August, you're really seeing that where it's starting to feel like a little bit more of a balanced market, even though we're not in balance there. Obviously, it's still a seller's market with 2 months of inventory, but you can see it in the days in MLS too. They've slowed down from 12 a year ago to 26 in the attached product market. So, of course, at 12, it was going up really rapidly and fast because there's so much competition.
Well, the rest of the market in the Front Range has had sold listings drop about 20%. Here, depending upon which type of home you're buying, it's 26 to 28% drop, right? So there's less people buying down there now.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us for our local market update. Don't forget to tune into our other podcasts, our national update and our Colorado update. I'm Anthony with Land Title. You can always reach me on my cell, 303-968-9868, or ameisner@ltgc.com.
And I'm Jim Marion, realtor here at Coldwell Banker. You can always call me at 303-548-0243, or shoot me an email to jim@ourcoloradohomes.com. Have a great one, everybody.
See you next time.